Just look at Real Madrid's first goal. The key detail is Aurélien Tchouaméni's movement. Valverde carries the ball forward with intent, shaping his body as if preparing to deliver a cross. That action forces Benfica's defensive line to retreat deeper into their own 18-yard box, anticipating a delivery. At that exact moment, Tchouaméni recognizes the space opening at the edge of the box. Instead of continuing his run into traffic, he intelligently holds his position just outside the penalty area. He calls for the cutback, Valverde spots him, and the return pass finds Tchouaméni completely unmarked. With composure, he finishes calmly from the edge of the area. The goal was not just about technique, it was about reading defensive behavior and exploiting the space created by wide penetration. With this victory, Real Madrid advance into the round of 16. Although Madrid secured the win, Benfica showed significant improvement compared to the first leg. From a tactical standpoint, Álvaro Arbeloa set Real Madrid up in a 4-4-2 structure, focusing on balance between defensive transitions. Meanwhile, due to José Mourinho's suspension, João Tralão took charge of Benfica and organized them in a 4-2-3-1 system, aiming to control central areas while maintaining width in advanced positions. Let's break down how both systems interacted and why Madrid's transitional sharpness proved decisive. When SL Benfica were in possession, their structure was clearly designed to match Real Madrid numerically in midfield. Both fullbacks, Samuel Dahl and Amar Dedić, advanced into midfield but remained wide. Instead of overlapping immediately, they positioned themselves high and wide to form a midfield four alongside Leandro Barreiro and Frederick Aursnes. This created a flat line of four across the middle, directly matching Madrid's midfield four. The objective was twofold. First, by occupying Madrid's midfielders, Benfica ensured their center-backs had more time to circulate possession. Second, with the full-backs stretching the pitch horizontally, Benfica's front four could engage Madrid's backline in 1-versus-1 situations. This positioning created a tactical dilemma for Federico Valverde and Eduardo Camavinga, who operated as Madrid's wide midfielders in the 4-4-2. Should they jump wide to tightly mark the advancing fullbacks, or remain narrow to protect the half spaces and block interior passing lanes? That hesitation is exactly what Benfica were trying to provoke. To limit Benfica's build-up, Madrid responded with aggressive central marking. Aurélien Tchouaméni and Arda Güler closely tracked Benfica's double pivot, denying Barreiro and Aursnes time to turn. Vinicius Jr. and Fran Garcia pressed the center-backs from the front, curving their runs to reduce easy progression. Importantly, Camavinga and Valverde did not immediately jump to press the Benfica fullbacks. Instead, they held their positions to screen passes into the half spaces. Only once the ball traveled wide did they accelerate to press. The pressing trigger was the pass to the flank. Once that occurred, Madrid looked to swarm the receiver and cut off inside passing lanes, forcing play toward the touchline. In attacking transition, Benfica attempted to disrupt Madrid's defensive line through dropping movements and third-man runs. Rafa Silva frequently dropped deep to drag Raúl Asensio out of the backline. At the same time, Andreas Schelderup pinned Trent Alexander-Arnold wide, which opened a significant gap in the left half space. This created a potential channel for Vangelis Pavlidis to attack with diagonal runs. Although this structural gap appeared multiple times, Benfica struggled to fully exploit it with direct long passes. When Asensio stepped out, Antonio Rudiger was often left alone to defend the central space against Pavlidis and incoming runners. However, Benfica lacked the precision in timing and delivery to consistently punish this vulnerability. Once Benfica broke Madrid's initial press, Madrid quickly reorganized into a compact 4-4-2 mid-block. Central areas were heavily protected, forcing Benfica to progress through wide zones. As a result, Benfica relied heavily on crosses and cutbacks to threaten the backline. Because Madrid prioritized central compactness, Benfica often had a free player wide. Their only goal came from exploiting this wide access. Amar Dedić initially received the ball in a wide position before drifting slightly inward. His movement drew Carreras forward, opening space behind him. Pavlidis recognized the opportunity and drifted into the vacated wide channel. A quick combination followed. Dedić found Richard Rios centrally, who played a first-time pass into Pavlidis' path. Pavlidis attacked the space and delivered a cross into the box.
After a sequence of defensive hesitation and poor clearances from Madrid, Rafa Silva capitalized to score. The sequence perfectly illustrated Benfica's wide overload strategy and Madrid's risk when prioritizing central compactness over immediate wide pressure.
When Real Madrid were in possession, their build-up was very deliberate and structurally coordinated. The center-backs split extremely wide to stretch the first line of SL Benfica's press, while the fullbacks pushed high and held the touchline. That width was not accidental. It was designed to pin Benfica's wide players deeper and increase the horizontal distance between their pressing units. A crucial detail in this first phase was the involvement of the goalkeeper. Instead of remaining passive, he stepped into the defensive line to act as an additional center-back. This temporarily transformed Madrid's back four into a back five during build-up. The effect of this movement was significant. It created numerical superiority against Benfica's front line and provided better passing angles to circulate the ball under pressure. More importantly, it forced Benfica to either press more aggressively man-to-man or risk allowing Madrid to progress comfortably. Benfica responded with an assertive, man-oriented press. Their forwards locked onto Madrid's defenders, and their midfielders followed their direct opponents tightly. The intention was to suffocate Madrid's short options and force rushed decisions. However, this approach naturally carried risk. In a strict man-to-man system, once one duel is lost or one player escapes pressure, the entire defensive structure can become exposed because there is less collective cover. Madrid's solution to this was Aurélien Tchouaméni. Rather than remaining static in midfield, he frequently dropped deep to receive the ball, sometimes positioning himself between the center-backs. His movement either created an additional numerical overload in the first phase or dragged a Benfica midfielder out of position. When he received possession, his body orientation was key. He positioned himself to receive on the half-turn, allowing him to either carry the ball forward or break a line with a vertical pass. By progressing through Tchouaméni, Madrid could bypass Benfica's first wave of pressure. Once that initial line was beaten, the spaces left behind became visible. Because Benfica's press was aggressive and man-focused, gaps would appear between midfield and defense. At the same time, the wide positioning of Madrid's fullbacks stretched Benfica's defensive line, creating larger channels in the half spaces. Once SL Benfica's press was broken, Real Madrid immediately shifted gears and attacked with real speed and vertical intent. Rather than recycling possession, Madrid looked to exploit the transitional moment when Benfica's man-oriented structure was still stretched. A key feature in these moments was Álvaro Carreras's movement from left-back. Instead of holding the width permanently, he often drifted into the left half space, rotating intelligently with Vinicius Jr. When Vinicius stayed wide to isolate his defender, Carreras would underlap into the interior channel. At other times, Vinicius would attack inside while Carreras maintained the wide lane. This fluid rotation made it difficult for Benfica to track runners during defensive transitions. Although Madrid created attacking situations through controlled build-up, they were far more dangerous in counter-attacking scenarios. Their two goals both came from regaining possession and immediately attacking a disorganized Benfica defense. Because Benfica committed numbers forward during their press, losing the ball left large spaces behind their midfield line and between their center-backs. Vinicius's goal perfectly illustrated this. The moment Benfica lost possession, he was already positioned on the shoulder of the last defender. Instead of dropping toward the ball, he anticipated the transition and prepared to attack the space behind. As soon as the forward pass was played, he used his acceleration to break free. With Benfica's defensive line retreating and not fully compact, he had both space and time to finish.